Hey there, Alex here. In the vast landscape of meditation and manifestation teachings and spiritual philosophies, there exists a profound truth that often gets overlooked in our eagerness to create and achieve: the power of simply being. This video explores why manifestation appears to work most effectively when we relax as our fundamental nature of unconditioned awareness, referencing non-dual wisdom traditions and the metaphysical teachings of modern sages. At the foundation of all existence lies an ineffable reality that precedes all thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This fundamental beingness, often referred to as the I am, is not a state to be achieved or a destination to reach. Rather, it's the ever-present foundation of all experience, the screen upon which the movie of life plays out. This essential beingness is what you are, it's what we are, before you add any qualifiers, any labels, descriptions, before you think, I am this or I am that. Consider for a moment, prior to the appearance of any thought, any feeling, any visual or auditory phenomena, you are. You are aware that I simply am. This amness, this beingness, is self-evident and requires no proof. It's the singular constant underneath all the changing experiences. It's the awareness that remains unchanged, whether there's feelings of joy, sadness, success, or struggling, awake or dreaming. This is your true nature, this unconditioned awareness that's always present. Neville Goddard wrote, I am the formless awareness of being, conceiving myself to be man. By my everlasting law of being, I am compelled to be and expressed all that I believe myself to be. So, why does manifestation work more effectively when we relax? The answer lies in a beautiful paradox. The more we let go of trying to control our reality, the more naturally our desires tend to materialize. This isn't mere coincidence, but reflects a fundamental truth about the nature of consciousness and reality. When we're in a state of tension or strain, we're essentially operating from a place of perceived separation and limitation. We see ourselves as isolated entities trying to manipulate an external world to conform to our wishes. This very perception of separation creates resistance and then blocks the natural flow of manifestation. In this mode of perception, we are listening to the thoughts in our mind and believing that they are us and that we are the character in the story that the mind is weaving. We operate under the paradigm of being just a person who's having to effort and struggle and try to figure it out. And when things seem to get worse, despite our efforts, we feel desperate and we try even more, eventually realizing that we're going round in circles. It might then be that we might finally give up our struggle and our forcing and simply relax and be. This relaxation allows us to release the false idea of separation, allowing the mind to quieten and the thoughts to gradually subside, revealing more and more of the simple presence of beingness that was always here to begin with, just seemingly covered up by the thoughts of stress, of over-efforting and overthinking. And so, as mental tensions and physical tensions dissolve, we relax and naturally fall back as our true nature, as unconditioned awareness. And this awareness, this beingness, is imbued with an intelligence, a wisdom, and intuition. As this space of beingness, manifestation isn't something that we do as a personal self that has to strive with effort, but something we allow as we are just being as we are. Neville Goddard points out the divine nature of this I am beingness in the hundreds of times it's mentioned in the Bible. I am hath sent me unto you. Be still and know that I am God. I am the way. I am the beginning and the end. I am. Man's unconditioned awareness of being is revealed as Lord and Creator of every conditioned state of being. So, understanding how manifestation works from this perspective happens with a shift in our conventional thinking, informed by a deeper truth. Instead of seeing desires as something we as a personal, struggling self need to make happen, we recognize them as natural movements within this boundless field of awareness, our true nature. Our daily experience can become extremely colored by habitual identification with thinking, emotions, or circumstances. Many of us carry around a heavy burden of mental constructs about who we are and what we're capable of. But these limitations aren't inherent to our being. They're acquired through experience and reinforced through repetitive thinking. But when we relax deeply, these identifications naturally begin to loosen, and the energy that was bound up in maintaining our limited self-image becomes available for natural, authentic expression. This is why many people often report experiencing breakthrough manifestations during periods of deep relaxation or after surrendering their attachment to the outcome. As the mental noise subsides through relaxation, something remarkable becomes apparent: the timeless presence of awareness itself. And this isn't a special state or achievement, it's the recognition of what has always been here. If we position it as a special state and achievement, then we become another doer who needs to do something to achieve this special state. We remain under the paradigm of being a limited person who has to think or effort our way into it. And we position it as something in the future rather than recognizing it is the ever-present reality that reveals itself when we simply relax. So this effortlessness of doing nothing doesn't mean that we literally do nothing, sit on the sofa and expect all the wonderful relationships and supercars to just drop through the roof. It means that we do nothing as a personal self that's efforting and forcing, and instead we relax as our beingness and allow actions and energy and intuitions and ideas and insights to flow naturally. We may suddenly find ourselves in a state of creative flow, allowing the actions to pour out without conceited effort or a heavy personal sense of self trying to decide what everything should be and how it's all going to work. Or we may deeply contemplate our actions so that they are holistic, loving, and highly effective, but we do so with a sense of lightness, allowing ideas to gently percolate in inner stillness and spontaneous intuitions to eventually bubble up to the surface. So we rely not so much on the thinking mind, but on beingness and imagination. When we relax as our true nature and understand it to be this unlimited being, we stop approaching manifestation as a process of forcing or trying to make things happen, and instead we rest in the recognition that everything we desire already exists within the field of consciousness. We can rest in the recognition that our true self, this beingness, is already complete and fulfilled as it is, without anything needing to be added. When we take what is to be incomplete, unfulfilled, and lacking, we feel stressed and we see more of that lack in our world. But when we relax as the beingness and recognize that we are already whole, then expressions of that wholeness can be allowed to flow out into our actions. And this understanding transforms how we relate to our desires. Instead of grasping and straining, we can hold our desires lightly, knowing that they're already complete and equal within the field of pure potential. rather than constantly checking for results, we can rest in the certainty of our true nature as unlimited being. And instead of trying to figure out how something will manifest, we can allow the infinite intelligence of consciousness to orchestrate all the details and lay out that path of incidents. And so here's how we can work with these principles in daily life. This all reveals itself to be really profound in moments when we feel desperate, when we feel we really need something, or we might not be able to pay the bills or be in the situation that we want to be in. These are the perfect opportunities to experiment with trusting in beingness, which is trusting in ourselves, or even trusting in God or the universe. Begin by simply noticing this awareness that's already present. Before you engage with any thought or activity, just take a moment to recognize the simple fact of your beingness. When you say, "I am," and you notice that sense or feeling of simply being aware, it's this. Allow yourself to relax into this. Notice you can't think your way into it. It's a relaxing of attention, like the aperture of a camera opening up to reveal the whole view and the simple fact of the whole appearance. Perceptually relaxed to know and feel, I simply am, not as a concept, but as a simple resting, as this awareness. When desires or concerns arise, notice how they appear within this space of awareness. Instead of immediately getting caught up in planning or worry, naturally allow these thoughts and feelings to appear in the vast space of being. This doesn't mean suppressing or trying to get rid of thoughts. It means seeing them as movements within your larger nature, within this. In relaxing as this beingness, you can begin to feel the natural sense of fulfillment that's already present. And this isn't about convincing yourself that you have what you want. It's about recognizing that the source of all manifestation is your very nature, this unconditioned awareness. So from the perspective of pure being, time and space are seen as constructs within consciousness rather than absolute realities. And this understanding has profound implications for manifestation, because the future isn't a distant place that we need to reach. It's a concept appearing in present awareness. Manifestation doesn't really require bridging a gap in time or space, or attracting something from the outside to you. It's simply another appearance appearing on the screen of ever-present consciousness. And you recognize yourself to be this screen of consciousness that all manifestation appears as. Linear causality is transcended in the recognition of our true nature as timeless awareness. So this is why manifestation techniques that instruct us to relax deeply and let our thoughts subside and enter a state where we are simply being seem to work. An open field of consciousness in which all possibilities exists reveals itself as we relax as this field of pure beingness. We are free to imagine without the thoughts of doubt and judgment clouding anything. We are free to imagine situations that imply the fulfillment of our desire. Perhaps someone happily receiving our services for the exchange of fair value, or perhaps our art or music project reaching the world and positively impacting the hearts and minds of others. We imagine the wish fulfilled. We live in the end. We think from the state desired and act as if embodying the person we wish we would become, but not as something out of reach, but as the present reality and the natural expression of our true nature. Fascinatingly, this whole understanding of effortless manifestation has a beautiful parallel in Taoism and the concept of Wu Wei, which literally translates as non-doing or non-action. and it dates back thousands of years in Chinese philosophy. Wu Wei represents the art of acting in accordance with the natural flow of life, without force or resistance. It's not about passivity or inaction, but rather about aligning and relaxing so perfectly with the natural way of things that action becomes effortless. There's a common metaphor in the Taoist teachings, right? Water. Imagine water flowing around obstacles without strain or struggle. It doesn't try to break through the rock. It simply follows its nature, and in doing so, can eventually shape and dissolve even the hardest stone to fine sand. So this is Wu Wei in action, accomplishment through beingness and naturally flowing action, rather than personal struggle and forcing. In the context of manifestation, Wu Wei offers a way of understanding how beingness and natural action work together. They are inseparable. In the flow state, it is said that action and awareness become one. But the deeper truth is, they were never two to begin with. This awareness that we are is always what all action appears as. And so, resting as the awareness that we are, action is allowed to appear spontaneously without resistance or over-attachment to the outcome. When we're resting in the perception of our true nature as this unconditioned awareness, our actions flow from this alignment rather than the mental strain or emotional grasping. Just as water naturally flows, naturally finding the path of least resistance without trying, we don't need to force our manifestations into being when we rest as the beingness that allows everything to simply flow. The Taoist sages observed that the more we try to control life through personal, individual willpower alone, the more we create resistance and struggle. But when we understand and align with the natural principles of existence, what they called the Tao, everything unfolds with this remarkable efficiency and grace. This so-called understanding and alignment isn't an intellectual understanding or some special knowledge to be obtained. It's more of a relaxing back into what's already the case, and the alignment with our true nature is simply the expression of the being that we are. This revelation transforms manifestation from a struggle to achieve into a natural, authentic expression of our true nature. By recognizing that we are this awareness as which all experiences arise, we can allow our desires to unfold naturally without the resistance created by identification with a limited self. Just as Neville Goddard wrote, "The consciousness of being is not dependent upon anything. I am the beginning and the end. That is, all things or conceptions of myself begin and end in me, but I, the formless awareness, remain forever." And so, the invitation is to rest as this beingness and assume yourself to be the concept of yourself you wish to express, and allow action and intuition to arise from being as you are. Finally, Neville continues, "I became conscious of being it. I am still conscious of being it, and I shall continue to be conscious of being it until that which I am conscious of being is perfectly expressed." For more details on the Awaken Embodied community, click the link in the description. And for one-on-one coaching inquiries, go to speaktoalex.com. That's speaktoalex.com. See you in the next video. Peace.